Boom. All aboard the night train. Welcome to the Friday Eve edition of the Sports Report Express train. This is Sportscaster 89 about to do the Sports Report Express train today. We're going to cover the MLB, the NHL, and the NBA. We're going to do the hot button topics in all three of those leagues. We're going to preview tonight's action across the MLB landscape, NHL, NBA. We're also going to chat the standings, and we're going to do the St. Louis Mets minor league team as well. We're going to give you a preview of tonight's action at Coldwell Park in St. Lucie West. I am Sportscaster 89. You're hopping aboard the Sports Report train on this Friday Eve edition. We're going to cover the NBA, NHL, MLB. We're going to do the hot button topics. We're going to do the schedule. We're going to do all that today. We're going to do the St. Lucie Mets as well, and we go from there. So before we get started today, I am a special Olympic sport athlete aspiring to be a sportscaster. I do basketball, track and field, bowling, and golf. Once again, I'm aspiring to be a sportscaster. I'm a special Olympic sport athlete that competes in basketball, track and field, bowling, and golf. I'm also on the Athlete Input Council. I'm also on the board of directors as well. I also announce St. Lucie Met games at Coldwell Park sometimes, and we go from there. So, like I said, you guys, let's get started with today's report. We're going to start with the St. Lucie Mets. They took on the Jupiter Hammerheads yesterday afternoon. It was a 12-10 first pitch from Coldwell Park yesterday, and the Mets lose this one in extra innings by a final score of 6-5. The Mets lost this one by a run yesterday, 6-5. Jupiter was 0 for 9 with runner in scoring position yesterday. St. Lucie was 1 for 18. They left 14 men on. Suriel gets the win for Jupiter. He goes to 1-0. Santos gets a loss for St. Lucie. And Sterner gets a save for the Jupiter Hammerheads. We look at the box score from yesterday. Let's look at the scoring from yesterday. Tanner Murphy doubled on a sharp line drive down the right field line yesterday. Burgos and Palmer scores. St. Lucie went up 1-0. Tanner Murphy steals third. Jose Colina steals second on a throwing error by Dax Bolton. The Mets took a 2-0 lead. Then the Mets were up 3-0 on a wild pitch by Dax Bolton. Jose Colina scores. St. Lucie was up 3-0 at the time. We go to the third inning. Osiris Johnson walks. Troy Johnston scores. Ashton Easley the third. Nasim Nunez the second. Jupiter's on the board. They pull within 2 runs of St. Lucie 3-1. Next, Zach Ashford strikes out swinging. Warren Saunders steals second. Jose Peroza steals home with 2 outs in the bottom of the fifth. The Mets cling to a 3-run advantage at the time in the bottom of the fifth. Let's go to the sixth inning. Burgos homers to center field. Jupiter pulls to within 2 runs at 4-2. In the top of the eighth, Jupiter pulls a run closer. They're down by only a run at 4-3. Johnston walks. Dalby Rosario scores. Burgos to third. Javion Cody to second. Jupiter was down by a run in the top of the eighth. Then they score on a force out. They tie the game at 4. Jupiter goes up ahead in the top of the eighth on a throwing error by Dan Coggin, and Emmanuel Marinez scores. Jupiter goes up by a run at 5-4. Next, in the bottom of the eighth, wild pitch by Edison Suriel. Tanner Murphy scores. Yo Romero goes to third. Peter Crow Armstrong to second. The Mets and Hammerheads were tied at 5. Then we go to the top of the 10th as Troy Johnston hits a sacrifice fly to right to Murphy. Dalby Rosario scores. Jupiter takes a 1-run advantage in extras, 6-5. The Mets had 2 runners on in the bottom of the 10th, but couldn't get them across. The Mets, like I said, they went 1 for 18 with run scoring position yesterday. Jupiter went 0 for 9. The Mets left 14 runners on base yesterday. They lose this one in a nip-and-tuck game yesterday afternoon. They lose this one by a run, 6-5 in extras. Let's take a look at this evening's matchup. Don't forget, you guys, tonight is Go for Gold Night Special Olympics. The Mets will be wearing specialized jerseys. It's Dollar Night at 6:10 is first pitch from Cobra Park in St. Lucie West. Once again, the Mets will take on the Jupiter Hammerheads tonight in the first of 3 straight Go for Gold Night series starting tonight, tomorrow night, and Saturday night. The Mets will take on the Hammerheads at Clover Park at 6:10 Eastern Time. The jerseys the Mets will be wearing tonight are specialized, and the proceeds will go towards Special in St. Lucie. So you'll see a lot of Special Olympic athletes there tonight. I hope to be there as well in person, seeing the action. But if not, I hope to do it, online, where I'll just listen to the game online, I guess. I know it's Dollar Night. It's the first Dollar Night of the season. I hope I get to be there in person, hopefully. Just need to be there tonight. They're playing tonight, 6:10 Eastern Time. It's first pitch from Clover Park in St. Lucie West. It's the Mets and the Hammerheads. We're actually going to do a preview of this game first before we go to other things. We're going to do a preview of this one tonight. It'll be Garrison Bryant on the mound for St. Lucie. The Jupiter starter has yet to be determined for Jupiter. So Garrison Bryant will be on the mound for the St. Lucie Mets. And here's the lineup he'll face this evening against Jupiter. It'll be Cameron Barstad, Burgos, Javion Cody, Casey Combs, Ashton Easley, Osiris Johnson, Troy Johnston, Emmanuel Marinez, Jan Mercado, Victor Mesa Jr., Nasim Nunez, Sean Reynolds, Davi Rosario. Once again, this is the lineup the Mets will face tonight. Garrison Bryant on the mound for the Mets. Cameron Barstad, Burgos, Cody, Combs, Easley, Johnston, Marinez, Mercado, Mesa Jr., Nunez, Reynolds, and Rosario. Your starting 9 for Jupiter this evening against St. Lucie Mets. Once again, the Mets will take on the Hammerheads at 6:10. Special ones go for Gold Night tonight. Dollar Night at Clover Park. Dollar hot dogs, dollar soda, dollar popcorn. It's the first Dollar Night of the season for the St. Lucie Mets tonight at 6:10 against Jupiter. It's Go for Gold Night. The proceeds going to Special Olympics. Don't forget, you guys, it's dollar hot dog, dollar soda, dollar popcorn. It's the greatest night of the season to start out. St. Lucie Mets, Jupiter Hammerheads, 6:10 this evening. If you want to go tonight, don't forget, you guys, if you want to get tickets for the game, you need to do it now by noon. So if you're going to want to go to the game tonight, you need to fill out the Google form that was sent out a few weeks ago. If you're interested in participating in the game tonight for Special Olympics, the families, if they want to attend, they need to fill out the Google form that was sent out to everyone a few weeks ago. So please do that now. You got till noon, so you got 45 minutes until they close that. You got till noon to do that today. If you're interested in going to the game, Special families can go. They get tickets, with the same household. So if you would like to go to the game today, make sure you fill out the Google form that was sent out to everybody a few weeks ago. I hope I get to go tonight, hopefully in person. So I hope to see you guys at Clover Park tonight. If not, I'll hopefully see you tomorrow night or Saturday night when they have fireworks. So hopefully I'll get to go somehow, but we'll have to figure it out. And all right, so with that said, you guys, let's go to the action in Major League Baseball that happened last night. The Yankees have won 5 in a row. They defeated the Astros last night by a final score of 6-3. Jonathan Loáisiga gets the win for New York. Brooks Raley gets a loss for Houston. Aroldis Chapman gets his 7th save of the season for the Bronx Bombers. They defeat the Astros 6-3. The Reds get a victory in extras over the White Sox 1-0. Sims gets the win for Cincinnati. Hendricks gets a loss for Chicago. Next, we had to Coors Field in Denver as the Rockies took on the Giants. The Rockies get the win by a run over San Francisco, 6-5. John Gray gets the win. Webb gets a loss. Daniel Bard gets a save for Colorado. There was a no-hitter yesterday afternoon in Seattle, the first no-hitter thrown by an Orioles pitcher since 1969, Jim Palmer. Congratulations to John Means throwing the no-hitter yesterday for the Orioles against the Mariners. Orioles shut out the Mariners yesterday afternoon thanks to John Means' no-hitter. 6-0. John Means now goes to 4-0. Kikuchi gets the loss, goes to 1-2 for Seattle. Congratulations once again goes to John Means on the first Baltimore no-hitter since Jim Palmer in 1969. The first combined no-hitter for the Orioles since 1991. Once again, congratulations to John Means and the Baltimore Orioles accomplishing that feat. Next, we go to Busch Stadium in St. Louis. It was a doubleheader yesterday between the Mets and Cardinals. The Mets lose Game 1, 4-1. They win Game 2, 7-2 and 7. Game 1, Helsley gets the win for St. Louis in Game 1. Stroman gets a loss from New York. Reyes gets a save for St. Louis. The Cardinals won Game 1 by a final score of 4-1. Next, we go to Game 2. The Mets defeat the Cardinals in Game 2 by a final score of 7-2. Alvido gets a loss for St. Louis. Jordan Yamato gets the win for the New York Mets. Next, we had the Lone Depot Park in Miami as the Marlins took on the D-backs yesterday. They get the shutout win over Arizona by a final score of 8-0. Holloway gets the win for Miami. Luke Weaver suffers a defeat for the Arizona Diamondbacks. The Marlins defeat the D-backs 8-0. Next, we had the Nationals Park in D.C. The Nationals lose by 2 runs to Atlanta, 5-3. Max Fried gets the win for Atlanta. Eric Fetty gets a loss for Washington, and Smith gets a save for Atlanta, his 6th on the season. The Braves beat the Nationals by 2 in D.C. Next, we go to Philadelphia as the Phillies and Brewers went at it yesterday. They get the 1-run win the Phillies do over the Brewers 5-4. Kinsler gets the win for Philly. Peralta gets a loss for Milwaukee. Alvarado gets a save for the Phillies. The Phillies win over the Brewers by a run for 5-4. Next, we had the Fenway Park in Boston. It was the Red Sox taking on the Tigers at home. The Tigers get the win in extras by a final score of 6-5. Soto gets the win for Detroit. Whitlock gets a loss for Boston. Fulmer gets a save for the Detroit Tigers. The Tigers defeat the Red Sox at Fenway last night by a run in extras 6-5. Next, we had the extras last night in Wrigley Field. The Cubs defeat the Dodgers as they sweep the Dodgers for the first time since 2008 at Wrigley Field. The Cubs defeat the Dodgers by a run in 11, 6-5. Mills gets the win for Chicago. Clevenger gets a loss for the Dodgers. The Cubs sweep the Dodgers at Wrigley Field for the first time since 2008 with a one-run victory last night at Wrigley Field in extras, 6-5. Next, we head to Target Field in Minneapolis, Minnesota. The Rangers defeat the Twins by a final score of 3-1. King gets the win for Texas. Thorpe gets a loss for Minnesota. Kennedy gets a save for the Minnesota Twins. The Rangers defeat the Twins by a final score of 3-1. Next, we head to Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City. The Indians beat the Royals by a run last night on the road at Kauffman Stadium, 5-4. Whitgren gets the win for Cleveland. Davis suffers the defeat for Kansas City. And Cameron Chack gets the save for Cleveland. The Indians defeat the Royals by a final score of 5-4. Next, we head to San Diego as the Padres took on the Pirates. The Pirates lose this one in San Diego by a couple runs, 4-2. Underwood gets a loss for Pittsburgh. Craig Stammen gets the win for San Diego. He goes to 2-1. Mark Melancon gets his 11th save of the season for San Diego. The Padres moved to 18-14. The Pirates dropped to 13-17 on the season. The Padres beat the Pirates by 4-2 last night at Petco Park. Next, we had the Angels Stadium in Anaheim as the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim took on the Tampa Bay Rays in Game 3 of the 4-game set. The Rays get the win by a final score of 3-1. Ryan Yarbrough gets the win for Tampa Bay. He goes to 2-3. Guerra gets a loss for Los Angeles. He goes to 2-1. And Springs gets the save for the Tampa Bay Rays. The Rays defeat the Angels by a final score of 3-1. Next, we head to Oakland at Ring Coliseum as the Blue Jays took on the A's yesterday. The A's lose this one by 5 runs, 9-4. in favor of Toronto. Romano gets the win for Toronto. Trevino gets a loss for Oakland. The Blue Jays defeat the A's yesterday in Oakland by a final score of 9-4. On we go to the schedule of games this afternoon in Major League Baseball. The Astros will take on the Yankees from Yankee Stadium this afternoon. It'll be Garrett Cole on the mound against Lance McCullers Jr. and the Astros. Next, we had the Citizens Bank Park in Philadelphia. It's the Phillies and the Brewers to wrap up their series. Zach Wheeler on the mound against Brandon Woodruff and the Milwaukee Brewers. It's the Brewers and Phillies this afternoon at 1:05. At 1:10 this afternoon, it's the Red Sox and Tigers wrapping up their series. It'll be Nathan Eovaldi on the mound for the Red Sox against Turnbull and the Detroit Tigers. Spencer Turnbull against Nathan Eovaldi, your pitching matchup from Fenway Park this afternoon as the Tigers and Red Sox wrap up their series. Also wrapping up their series this afternoon from Minneapolis, Minnesota, it's the Rangers taking on the Twins. Jordan Lyles on the mound for the Texas Rangers. He'll take on Michael Pineda and the Minnesota Twins, 1:10 Eastern Time, Twins and Rangers. Next, we had the Busch Stadium in St. Louis. It's the final game of the series between the Cardinals and Mets at 1:15. It'll be Taijuan Walker for the Mets against John Gant and the St. Louis Cardinals. The Mets will take on the Cardinals this afternoon at 1:15 from Busch Stadium. It's the Cardinals and Mets, Taijuan Walker against John Gant and the St. Louis Cardinals. Next this afternoon from Kauffman Stadium, it's the Indians and Royals going at it to wrap up their series. It'll be Danny Duffy on the mound for Kansas City against McKenzie and the Cleveland Indians. It'll be 2:10 Eastern Time. Royals and Indians wrapping up their series this afternoon from Kansas City. Next, we had the Ring Coliseum in Oakland, California. It's the A's wrapping up their series against Toronto at 3:37 this afternoon. Mike Fiers on the mound against Hyun-Jin Ryu for the Toronto Blue Jays. It's the Blue Jays and A's this afternoon from Oakland. It's Hyun-Jin Ryu against Mike Fiers and the Oakland A's. This afternoon at 4:05 on YouTube, it's the Nationals taking on the Braves on YouTube. It's the MLB Game of the Week on YouTube, Braves and Nationals from D.C. It'll be John Lester on the bump against Drew Smyly in the Atlanta Braves. 4:05 first pitch on YouTube this afternoon. It's MLB Game of the Week. It's the Nationals and Braves in an NL East battle from D.C. at Nationals Park. Drew Smyly on the mound against John Lester and the Washington Nationals. This evening from Miami at Lone Depot Park, it's the Marlins and the D-backs wrapping up their series. It'll be Madison Bumgarner on the mound for the D-backs against Pablo Lopez and the Miami Marlins. It's the Marlins and D-backs this evening from Lone Depot Park in Miami at 6:40. Madison Bumgarner against Pablo Lopez. And to wrap up the night in Major League Baseball, it's going to be the Rays taking on the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. It's Colin McHugh on the mound for Tampa Bay against Andrew Heaney and the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. The Rays and Angels, 9:40 tonight from Angel Stadium. Colin McHugh on the mound against Andrew Heaney and the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. That's your MLB slate on this Friday Eve edition of the Sports Report Express Train. Now, let's take a look at the Major League Baseball standings. We take a look at the American League East. It's the Red Sox number 1 at 18-13, followed by the Yankees at 16-14, the Tampa Bay Rays at 17-15, the Blue Jays at 15-14, the Baltimore Orioles in last in the division at 15-16. Over in the American League Central we go. It's the White Sox at 16-13, the Indians at 16-13, the Royals in a tie for first in the Central at 16-13 as well, followed by the Twins at 11-18, and the Detroit Tigers at 9-22. Over in the American League West, it's the Oakland A's at 19-13, followed by the Seattle Mariners at 17-15, the Astros at 500 at 15-15, the Rangers at 15-17, and the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim last in the American League